ready for something totally different today. We're going to Cuba,
Oh, cool.
but not for the beaches or cigars.
Okay.
This deep dive is all about Cuban freelancers.
Interesting.
Yeah, how they're building online careers,
Right.
with like some pretty big challenges.
Yeah, I imagine.
We always hear about the limited internet there.
Right.
But what does that actually mean for someone like trying to work online?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to unpack today.
Awesome.
We've got these articles about this platform called NinjaCuba.
Okay.
It was specifically designed for Cuban freelancers.
Wow.
And then we have a few firsthand accounts
Okay.
that really bring it all to life.
Excellent.
So let's start with NinjaCuba.
Okay.
What makes this platform so unique?
Well, what's interesting is that it was born out of necessity.
Okay.
It was created by some Cuban techies who were just tired
Right.
of, exploitative middlemen taking a huge cut of their earnings.
Wow, taking matters into their own hands.
Heck.
Talk about turning a frustrating situation into something positive.
Right.
But knowing how limited internet access is there,
Yeah.
how does a platform like this even work?
That's where the ingenuity comes in.
Okay.
They have some really smart features to get around those issues.
Oh, okay.
For example, creating a profile is super quick and easy
Okay.
because they know people can't be online for a long time.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What else?
So imagine trying to find freelance work,
Yeah.
but you can only be online, every once in a while.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to waste time scrolling through irrelevant gigs.
Oh, for sure.
So NinjaCuba lets you segment jobs by your skills, salary, and even your work schedule.
Wow.
And they even built in email and offline notifications.
Oh, wow.
So you don't miss out on opportunities if you go offline.
That is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
They really thought of everything.
They did.
I have to ask, though, is it enough?
Yeah.
Is this like a magic bullet?
It's a game changer for sure.
Okay.
But to really understand the challenges and opportunities,
Yeah.
we need to zoom out a bit and look at the broader picture.
Okay. I'm ready to broaden the perspective.
Okay.
What are some of the things that make the Cuban freelance landscape so unique?
Well,
Aside from the internet access, of course.
of course.
Yeah.
One thing that might surprise you is the education level.
Okay.
Like, the average Cuban actually has a really high level of education.
Oh,
You're talking about a population that's very literate and skilled,
right.
especially like in writing, translation, those
Right.
kinds of knowledge-based fields.
So it's like this interesting situation
Yeah.
where they have the skills,
Yeah,
but limited access to share them.
exactly.
So it feels like this huge untapped resource.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's interesting how this is playing out, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the legal side of things.
Okay.
Officially speaking, freelancing isn't really recognized as like a formal profession in Cuba.
So they're kind of in this gray area.
Yeah, it's not officially sanctioned,
Right.
but it's not like heavily taxed or anything either.
Interesting. So it almost works in their favor a bit.
In a way, yeah, but it also creates uncertainty, right?
Of course.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, for sure. So we've talked about NinjaCuba
Right.
as this like innovative solution.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic.
Okay.
Limited internet access is a major
Yeah,
obstacle.
a constant challenge.
Right. For anybody who wants to work online there,
Yeah.
even with platforms like NinjaCuba trying to bridge that gap.
And we have to remember,
Yeah.
our source material is from a few years ago,
Okay.
back when they were celebrating the introduction of mobile data,
Oh, wow.
back in 2018.
Wow.
So that was a game changer, obviously.
Right.
But it's still evolving,
I can't even imagine
Yeah.
trying to build a whole career
Right.
dealing with slow connections.
Yeah.
Unreliable access, like maybe even having to go to a certain location
Right.
just to get online.
Yeah.
That's like next level.
You have to be incredibly resilient
Yeah.
and resourceful, for sure.
Yeah.
But then it brings us to another question.
Okay.
How do you even get paid?
Right. Like I didn't even think about that.
Right.
It's not as easy
You
as
imagine.
it's other places.
You hit on a crucial point.
Yeah.
The biggest obstacle for Cuban freelancers is actually the U.S. embargo.
Oh, right.
Because it blocks them from using PayPal,
Yeah, of course.
which is like the go-to, right? For most freelancers in other parts of the world.
Yeah. So how do they do it?
They've had to get creative.
Okay.
One option is direct bank transfers,
Okay.
but those often come with like really high fees.
Right. Of course.
Then there are things called AIS cards.
AI's cards. What is that?
They're like American International Service cards.
So
Basically, they're linked to accounts in US dollars,
Okay.
but you can use them in Cuba. So they've been a game changer for some freelancers.
Wow. So it's like a workaround.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, what are some other ways?
Well, there's always Western Union,
Oh, right.
which is expensive,
Yeah.
but reliable, you know?
Yeah.
It's widely accessible.
Sure.
And then there's a whole other side of things, too. These, like, informal networks.
Informal networks. What's that?
Like, they might rely on friends or family
Okay.
who live abroad to receive payments for them.
Oh,
And then they find ways to get those funds back to Cuba.
wow. That's a whole other level.
It's complicated.
Yeah, that's intense.
It speaks to their resourcefulness, though.
For sure. I have to ask,
Yeah.
with all these obstacles, where are they even finding clients?
Right.
It can't all be through platforms like NinjaCuba.
You're right.
Yeah.
Many of them are turning their attention to opportunities within Cuba.
Oh, okay. So there's a growing internal market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a real need for their skills in Cuba. They have all these businesses that need
Oh,
websites
right.
and content creation and all that.
So they're like tapping into that entrepreneurial spirit
Exactly.
that's coming up now in Cuba.
And it's not just small businesses either.
Oh, really?
Like, even state-run enterprises are realizing
Wow.
that they need to improve their online presence.
So they need to hire locally then?
Yeah, they're turning to local freelancers who understand the Cuban market.
Right, of course, because they need that background
You
to really
do.
make it work.
And the cultural nuances, you know.
That local knowledge is so valuable.
It is.
Because it's one thing to have, like, the technical skills,
Right.
but knowing how to apply them
Exactly.
in that specific place
Yeah.
is a whole other thing.
It makes you wonder if there's an advantage for Cuban freelancers
Oh, okay.
who focus on building those relationships locally
Interesting.
because internet access is so limited.
Yeah.
And things are done a little differently there.
Right.
Being able to, like, meet face-to-face
Right.
can be huge.
It really shows how important that human connection still is,
For sure.
even in the digital world.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been so interesting.
Yeah.
For any Cuban freelancers listening,
Right.
what are some key takeaways for them?
I think one of the big ones from our sources
Oh.
is just personal connections.
Okay.
Networking might look different in Cuba,
Right.
but it's still important.
So it's not all like cold emails and
Yeah, exactly.
LinkedIn requests.
Don't underestimate face-to-face.
Yeah, for sure.
Word of mouth.
That's
Building your community.
what else?
Having some kind of online presence is important.
Okay, but how do you even do that
I know, right?
with limited internet?
It's tough, but even a simple website can go a long way
Right.
so that even when you're offline,
Yeah.
clients can still find you.
That's a great point.
And then when you do have internet access,
Right.
social media is really important
Makes sense.
to showcase your work and everything.
So it's all about demonstrating your value, really,
Exactly.
no matter where you are.
Yeah, building that trust is so important.
It seems like the future of Cuban freelancing
Yeah.
is really evolving.
It's exciting.
What can we expect in the coming years?
Well, if internet access keeps improving,
Right.
it's really exciting to think about the possibilities. Like,
Yep.
we could see Cuban freelancers becoming, you know,
What?
major players on the global stage,
Oh, wow.
offering their skills to a wider audience.
That would be amazing.
It's a huge untapped talent pool,
It really is.
just waiting to be unleashed, you know?
It makes you wonder what kind of impact
Oh,
they'll have on the world.
for sure.
This has been so eye-opening.
It has.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.